Ronan had been walking the streets of the bustling city for hours, his worn-out shoes slapping the cracked pavement, his stomach growling in protest. He had been searching for a job for weeks. Any work that would pay enough for food and a place to sleep. Nothing seemed to fit. Everything required skills he did not have or experience he could not show. Just as he was about to give up and sink into despair, a small hollow ad flickered on a lamppost, catching his tired eyes. High-paying work on distant worlds. Plow fields, no experience needed. Immediate start. The words shimmered in bright neon green. Ronan blinked, rubbed his eyes, and stepped closer, reading the ad again. The promise sounded too good to be true, but his desperation left him no choice. He tapped the hollow panel and a small contract appeared. Written partly in English, partly in an alien script he had never seen. A voice whispered softly from the device. The reward is beyond your dreams, and then the hollow faded, leaving him staring at the empty lamppost. Ronan felt a mix of excitement and unease, but money had never looked so good. He signed the digital contract with shaky hands, his finger leaving a glowing mark on the panel. The instructions were simple. Report to the spaceport at sunrise, bring minimal belongings, and prepare for work. That night he hardly slept, imagining himself on a strange alien planet. Plowing fields and earning wealth, he tried to ignore the strange alien symbols. But a small chill ran down his spine every time he glanced at the contract. The next morning, the spaceport was busy with travelers of all kinds. Humans, androids, and a few strange aliens with shimmering skin and multiple eyes. Ronan's ship was small, sleek, and silent, hovering above the platform as if waiting for him. The pilot, a tall blue-skinned alien with long, flowing tendrils, greeted him with a soft nod. Destination, Velar Prime. Purpose, fieldwork. Do not be late, the pilot said in broken English, and Ronan felt both nervous and thrilled as the ship glided through the stars. Ronan watched planets and moons pass by, each glowing with colors he had never imagined. He felt a strange sense of wonder, mixed with fear. He had never left Earth before, never touched the stars with his own eyes. A sense of adventure grew inside him, but a small voice in his mind whispered caution. What if this is a trick? He wondered, shaking the thought away. When the ship landed on Velar Prime, the sight made his jaw drop. The planet's field stretched endlessly, filled with strange plants that pulsed with soft light. The sky was a swirl of pink and purple, with two suns casting golden rays on the land. Ronan could hear faint humming noises from the fields, like a whisper carried by the wind. A group of alien women approached, their skin glowing softly, eyes curious, watching him carefully. One of them stepped forward, smiling politely but with an edge of caution. Welcome to your work, she said in English that Ronan could understand. You will plow the fields as the contract says. Her words seemed normal, but the way she looked at him, her eyes sharp and knowing, gave him an uneasy feeling. He followed her instructions, grabbing a strange tool that seemed more alive than metal. The first field he entered pulsed beneath his feet, and the plants bent slightly as if breathing. Ronan tried to ignore it, thinking it was just the wind or the strange nature of the planet. As he worked, he noticed that the plants reacted differently to his touch, glowing brighter when he pressed the tool into the soil. He felt a strange energy passing through his hands, and a shiver ran down his spine. The other workers watched him silently, some whispering in their alien language, and some giving him quick, curious glances. He wanted to ask questions, but the alien supervisor gave him a subtle warning, and he stayed quiet. Hours passed, and Ronan began to feel tired but also more alert, sensing that something was not as it seemed. The fields looked normal from a distance, but up close, there were shapes moving beneath the glowing plants, subtle curves and edges that seemed almost human. Ronan blinked, thinking it was a trick of the light, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. He realized then that this job was different from anything he had imagined, and that he had stepped into a world full of mysteries and secrets. A cold wind swept across the field, carrying a soft whisper. Not everything is as it seems. And Ronan froze, his heart racing. By the time the sun dipped behind the alien horizon, he knew one thing. This job was not ordinary, and he had no idea what lay ahead. The glow of the fields, the watching eyes, the strange energy beneath his feet, all hinted at a secret he would soon uncover. Ronan took a deep breath, gripping the tool tightly, and prepared himself for the unknown. He had accepted the job for survival, but he was about to learn that survival might cost far more than he had ever imagined. Ronan woke early the next morning, the alien sky still painted in soft pinks and purples. He stretched his arms, feeling soreness in muscles he didn't know existed, and rubbed his hands where the tool had left faint scratches. The memory of yesterday's strange glowing fields and whispering wind made him uneasy. But he told himself it was just the alien environment, nothing more. He stepped outside his small quarters, where the alien women and other workers were already moving toward the fields. Silent and careful, he followed, his curiosity mixed with a growing sense of fear. The first step into the field was different from yesterday. The glowing plants seemed to pulse faster, as if sensing him, bending slightly as he walked past. He knelt to examine the soil, and a faint hum vibrated under his fingers. Almost like a heartbeat, Ronan froze, heart racing, trying to convince himself it was only his imagination. But the feeling of being watched was stronger than ever, eyes tracking every movement. Though he could see no one nearby, a female worker approached him, her skin shimmering in soft green light. "You are new," she said in clear English, her voice calm but firm. "Do not touch the wrong plants," Ronan nodded, confused. "What do you mean? All the plants are the same, right?" She gave him a slow, warning smile. "Some are not plants," and then walked away. Leaving him staring after her, he swallowed hard, trying to make sense of her words, and turned to the fields again, every glowing stalk now seeming alive. Watching moving slightly, he began plowing, cautiously pressing the tool into the soil as he worked. He noticed small movements beneath the surface, faint ripples like something breathing. He paused, holding his breath, and a soft whisper seemed to float in the wind. "Stop, or you will wake them." Ronan shook his head, looking around, but there was no one near, only the glowing fields and alien sky. His mind raced, questions piling up, but he pushed them aside, telling himself he needed the job. He needed the money. By midday, he had begun to see patterns in the fields, areas where the plants bent toward him as he worked, and sections where the glow was stronger, almost hot to the touch. The other workers moved quietly around him, observing without speaking, their eyes sharp and alert. He realized they were not only working, they were guarding something. Ronan's pulse quickened, the excitement of discovery mixed with fear. He decided to watch more closely, pretending to work. But scanning the field with careful eyes, he saw the first unmistakable sign when a stalk shivered, rising slightly above the others, and the shape beneath it shifted. It was subtle, a curve of something soft and human-like. "Not a plant." Ronan froze, his stomach twisting. "No, it can't be," he whispered, but the vision repeated, a gentle rise and fall beneath the glowing skin of the field. His mind screamed warnings, yet his curiosity pushed him closer, inching through the rows, trying to see more without alerting the others. The alien supervisor appeared suddenly at his side, her glowing eyes narrow and piercing. "You are close," she said softly. "Do not touch." Ronan nodded quickly, stepping back, heart pounding. She watched him for a long moment, then turned away, walking toward another part of the field, leaving him with the strange hum in the air. It was louder now, vibrating through the soil and into his hands, as if the field itself was alive, breathing, waiting. Ronan continued his work carefully, trying to act normal, but his thoughts were wild. Could the fields really be alive in a human-like way? Were the alien women really trapped here? The whispers returned, faint and impossible to ignore. "You must be careful or they will scream." He glanced around, the other workers still silent, but their eyes watching, judging. Guiding him without words, a chill ran down his spine, and he realized the gravity of the situation. This job was far from ordinary. It held secrets he was only beginning to understand. As the suns moved across the sky, shadows grew long, and the glowing fields became brighter in the dim light. Ronan noticed a small hand-like shape rise from the soil, almost invisible at first, then clearer as he focused. He stepped back, heart thundering, unable to believe his eyes. The female supervisor approached again, her expression calm but her tone sharp. "You are seeing it now, and soon you will learn more than you expect." Ronan nodded slowly, a mix of fear and fascination rooting him in place. He felt that he was standing at the edge of something dangerous, something extraordinary, something that would change his life forever. As the day ended and he left the field, Ronan's mind was restless, replaying every subtle movement, every glowing stalk, every whisper in the wind. He knew sleep would be hard, for the image of the living fields haunted him. He understood now that this was not just a job to plow alien plants. It was a world of mystery, secrets, and danger, and tomorrow he would face it again. Learning more about the truth hidden beneath the glowing fields, Ronan gripped the tool tightly, a sense of purpose forming amidst his fear, ready for the discoveries awaiting him. Ronan could not sleep that night, his mind filled with images of the glowing fields, the whispering wind, and the subtle movements he had seen. He kept turning the events over and over, trying to convince himself that it was just his imagination. Yet deep down he knew something was wrong. The hum from the soil, the curves of shapes beneath the plants, and the strange warning from the female supervisor haunted him. He dressed quickly in the dim light of his quarters, the alien sky outside still tinged with the soft pink glow of the distant suns. A plan formed in his mind, risky but necessary. He would return to the fields alone at night and find out the truth. The fields were silent as he approached, the glowing plants casting eerie light across the rows. The air was cooler, carrying the soft hum more clearly. Vibrating under his feet, Ronan crouched low, moving slowly through the rows, every nerve alert, every shadow drawing his attention. He had never been this scared in his life, but fear mixed with determination drove him forward. Then he saw it clearly, a gentle rise beneath the glowing plants, a shape that was unmistakably human. Ronan froze, unable to breathe, staring at the shape, which shifted slightly as if sensing him. He stepped closer, trembling, and his mind could not believe what he saw. The plants were not plants at all. They were alien women suspended in a strange stasis, glowing softly beneath the soil. Some moved slightly, blinking large, luminous eyes, while others remained still, their skin pulsing with gentle light. The whispers in the wind seemed louder now, almost guiding him. They are alive. Handle carefully. He stumbled back, heart pounding, a mix of fear, awe, and confusion flooding him. This was nothing he had imagined. Nothing from Earth could compare. The female supervisor appeared suddenly, her glowing eyes catching the faint light. "You see now," she said calmly, yet her voice carried weight and warning. "This is our way of life. These women power our world in ways humans cannot understand." Ronan shook his head. I thought I was plowing fields, not..." His voice faltered, words failing him. The supervisor stepped closer, her tendrils flowing gracefully. "You are human, rare, and special. Your mind is curious, your heart brave. Yet you must learn respect." Ronan nodded slowly, fear mixing with fascination, unable to look away from the glowing figures beneath the soil. He realized that these alien women were not just plants or tools. They were intelligent, aware, and part of a system far beyond human understanding. A strange connection formed in his mind, empathy rising as he imagined their fear and patience trapped in the glowing soil. He wandered among the rows, careful not to touch, feeling a strange energy pulsing through the fields. The whispers guided him subtly, teaching him to move slowly, to watch and observe. One of the women blinked at him directly, her eyes large and expressive, conveying curiosity, fear, and something else, hope. Ronan felt an unusual pull, a bond forming between them. Something deeper than words, a silent understanding that he must protect them. Suddenly the hum grew louder, and a small group of workers approached, their steps careful but quick. The female supervisor held up a hand, and they froze, observing Ronan closely. "You are learning quickly," she said. "But remember, interference can be dangerous, even for you." Ronan swallowed hard, knowing he could not reveal what he had seen, yet also realizing that staying silent might not be enough. His mind raced, thinking of ways to help without angering the alien society, without risking their lives or his own. As he stepped back toward the edge of the field, the sun set completely, leaving the sky a deep purple. The glowing women pulsed gently beneath the soil, like stars beneath the earth, their hum echoing softly in his mind. He understood now that this job was more than labor. It was a test, a glimpse into a world where life, energy, and society intertwined in ways humans could not yet grasp. Ronan felt fear, awe, and determination all at once. He knew that tomorrow he would return, and he would learn more, piece by piece, carefully. He left the field quietly, moving through the alien settlement under the stars. The glow of the fields behind him pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, reminding him of the secret he had uncovered. He returned to his quarters, exhausted but awake, mind racing with plans, strategies, and questions. What was the purpose of this system? How could he help without causing harm? Could a human even make a difference in such a world? Ronan curled up on his simple bed, staring at the alien sky through the window. He knew one thing clearly. This job was not about money, survival, or simple work. It was about understanding, courage, and discovering the extraordinary hidden beneath the ordinary. And as he drifted into uneasy sleep, he felt the soft hum in his mind again, almost like a whisper. Tomorrow you will see more human, and you will choose. Ronan's heart raced even in sleep, knowing that he had crossed a threshold, stepping into a mystery that would change everything he thought he knew. The glow of the fields promised danger, wonder, and the first spark of a bond that could alter not just his life, but the lives of the alien women he had seen. The adventure had only just begun, and the secrets of the glowing fields waited, patient and alive for him to uncover. The next morning, Ronan returned to the glowing fields before sunrise. The alien sky painted in soft violet and gold. He moved carefully, keeping low, every sense alert, aware that the eyes of the alien workers were always on him. The air was thick with the hum of the fields, vibrating beneath his feet like a heartbeat. Ronan's hands shook slightly as he gripped his tool, but his determination burned brighter than his fear. As he passed a row of the glowing plants, one of the shapes beneath the soil shifted, rising slightly above the surface. This time it was not subtle. He could see the outline of a face, soft and delicate, with eyes larger than a human's. Glowing faintly, she looked directly at him. Fear and curiosity mixed in her gaze. Ronan froze, unsure if she could understand him, unsure if he could communicate without frightening her further. But he felt something stir inside him, a strange empathy, a desire to protect her from whatever danger surrounded them. He knelt carefully, keeping his hands visible, and spoke softly. "It's okay, I won't hurt you." The alien woman blinked slowly, her large eyes studying him, seemingly weighing his words. To Ronan's surprise, she moved closer, raising a slender hand from beneath the glowing soil, reaching tentatively toward him. His heart pounded as he held out his own hand, hovering just above hers, afraid that sudden movement might trigger the other workers. "You understand me?" he whispered, though he knew she could not speak his language. A soft hum answered him, resonating from her body, vibrating in a way that almost felt like speech. Ronan realized quickly that this was her way of communicating, a subtle energy he could sense through the air and the soil. He closed his eyes for a moment, focusing on the rhythm of her hum, and a strange understanding passed between them. She was frightened, yes, but intelligent, aware, and reaching out for trust. Ronan spent hours that morning with her, careful to remain hidden from the supervisors. He learned small things about her, feeling the pulse of her life through the soil, sensing her thoughts as best as he could. She was curious about him, about his hands, about the tool he used, and about the alien world she had been trapped in. He discovered her name in her language, a soft, melodic sound he repeated quietly to himself. "Liara," he whispered, smiling faintly. Liara responded with a subtle glow, her energy rising slightly as if acknowledging her name. They moved in silent coordination, Ronan learning how to navigate the fields without causing the other workers to notice. He began to understand more about the alien society, the system that kept the women in the glowing fields, and the strange energy that flowed from them. Liara's hum guided him like a compass, warning him when others approached, teaching him when to pause, when to move slowly. For the first time he realized that he was not just an observer. He had a role, a responsibility. He could help, even if only in small ways, by listening, watching, and learning. By midday, Ronan felt a strange bond forming, one that went beyond words or species. Liara trusted him enough to share her presence, to allow him close. Even though the system had kept her confined for what must have been a long time, Ronan's heart ached with empathy, imagining how long she had endured this strange existence. Glowing and trapped beneath the soil, he made a quiet promise to himself that he would find a way to help her, no matter how dangerous. The feeling of connection was strong, real, and it gave him courage he had never known. Later, as the suns moved across the alien sky, Ronan stepped back to watch the other fields, observing patterns and movement. He realized that the alien society relied heavily on control and observation, but they had not accounted for trust, for compassion, for human curiosity. Liara's hum echoed in his mind, guiding him, giving him small hints about the system, about weak points, and about timing. Ronan understood then that freedom was possible, but it would require patience, cleverness, and a bond strong enough to survive discovery. As the day ended, the glow of the fields dimmed slightly with the fading sunlight. Ronan took one last look at Liara, who pulsed gently beneath the soil, a soft hum vibrating in harmony with his own heartbeat. He stepped back quietly, knowing that returning tomorrow would require even greater caution. But he was no longer just a human worker. Lost and confused, he was a protector, a friend, and someone who had begun to understand the extraordinary lives of these alien women. The bond he had formed with Liara was the first step in a journey that would change everything. Not just for him, but for the entire alien society. And as he walked back to his quarters under the alien night sky, Ronan felt a spark of hope, courage, and purpose. The mysterious job that had seemed simple was now a mission, a chance to do something remarkable. He would return, he would learn more, and he would face the dangers of the fields with a new resolve. For the first time, he believed that humanity, compassion, and courage could make a difference, and the adventure had only just begun. Ronan could not stop thinking about Liara as he left the glowing fields that night. Her soft hum, the pulse of her energy, and the gentle movements beneath the soil haunted him. He knew that staying silent would only allow the system to continue. He could not ignore the truth any longer, and a plan began to form in his mind, cautious but daring. He spent the night sketching ideas in the dim light of his quarters, using scraps of alien tools and his own knowledge. He imagined ways to distract the supervisors. Ronan had learned the patterns of their movement, the timing of their patrols, and the weak spots in the glowing fields. He knew it was risky, and discovery could cost him everything, but his bond with Liara gave him courage. At sunrise, he returned to the fields, keeping low and moving quietly. Liara's soft glow pulsed as he approached. Her hum a steady reassurance. He whispered to her, "We will find a way," and she responded with a gentle flicker. Almost like a nod, he began testing small distractions, throwing tiny stones to draw the supervisor's attention. Each time he watched carefully, learning which movements caused them to look away and which drew suspicion. By mid-morning, he had discovered that the glowing energy from the women could interact with his tools. If applied carefully, it could create a temporary shimmer, hiding movement or confusing the watchers. Ronan experimented slowly, careful not to harm anyone. Each successful attempt gave him confidence. Each failure taught him caution. The other workers glanced at him occasionally, their expressions unreadable, but he sensed approval in subtle nods and quiet hums. Ronan spent hours mapping the fields, marking weak points and safe paths. He noticed that the supervisors rarely monitored the far edges of the glowing soil. This would be his chance, the first step in freeing Liara and the others. He moved to a hidden corner, where the soil was softer and the glow dimmer. Liara reached out her hand through the surface, guiding him silently, her hum vibrating with encouragement. By afternoon, the plan was taking shape in his mind. Precise and calculated, he would create a distraction in the central fields, drawing the supervisors away. Then, using the shimmer from Liara and the others, he would lead them to the weak edge. Out of the glowing soil and into safety, he practiced each step in his mind, imagining every movement, every sound, every risk. The bond with Liara made him more careful, more alert, and more determined than ever. As the suns began to dip toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the fields, Ronan decided it was time to test a small part of the plan. He created a shimmer near a single glowing stalk, and the energy reacted exactly as he expected. The supervisor looked away for just a moment, and he moved forward slightly unnoticed. Liara's hum rose softly, a signal of success, and he felt a thrill of hope. This small victory proved that the plan could work. But he knew the full escape would be far more dangerous. Ronan spent the evening teaching himself to read the subtle energy shifts in the soil. He realized that each woman could assist, using her pulse to create illusions, hiding movement from the supervisors. Liara's guidance became his most valuable tool, her presence a beacon of trust and courage. He understood that the success of the plan relied on teamwork, careful timing, and unwavering attention. Failure was not an option, and yet the risk only made his resolve stronger. Before returning to his quarters, he whispered to Liara, "Tomorrow we try a little more, step by step." Her pulse glowed brighter, a silent promise of cooperation and trust. Ronan walked back under the alien night sky, heart pounding with anticipation and fear. He knew the supervisors were suspicious, their watchful eyes everywhere. But he had hope, courage, and the bond of friendship, a human trait the alien society had not accounted for. And as he lay on his simple bed staring at the strange stars above, Ronan felt a determination he had never known. He was no longer just a worker or an observer. He was part of something greater, a chance to change lives. The risk was high, the dangers real, but humanity, compassion, intelligence, and bravery would guide him tomorrow. The first real steps of the rescue would begin, and the glowing fields would witness a courage they had never seen before. The suns were just beginning to rise over Valar Prime, painting the glowing fields in shades of gold and violet. Ronan moved carefully through the rows, his heart pounding with anticipation. Today was the day, the moment he had planned for. Step by step, week by week, the hum of the alien soil pulsed under his feet like a warning, like a heartbeat of the glowing women beneath the surface. Liara's energy glimmered softly, guiding him silently, her hum vibrating in harmony with his own nerves. He crouched low, watching the supervisors move through the central fields, their multiple eyes scanning. Sharp and alert, Ronan took a deep breath, steadying his hands, remembering every lesson, every shimmer, every small success from before. He whispered to Liara, "We can do this. Stay calm." And she responded with a pulse that felt like courage flowing directly into him. The first part of the plan went smoothly. A small shimmer created near the center of the field, drawing the attention of the main supervisors. They moved quickly, curious and cautious. Their eyes focused on the distraction. Ronan signaled to Liara, and the energy of the other women began to ripple, creating subtle illusions that hid their movement. He stepped forward, moving carefully, guiding Liara and the others toward the weaker edge of the fields. Every step was tense, every sound amplified in his mind, and he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. Suddenly, a worker from the opposite side noticed something, a faint shimmer that didn't belong. Ronan froze, heart thudding, but Liara pulsed quickly, and the illusion absorbed the attention. Redirecting the observer, he breathed a silent sigh of relief. Moving a few steps closer to the escape point, the other women followed, their glows faint but synchronized, creating a path only Ronan could see. The hum of the soil intensified, vibrating with tension and excitement. As they neared the edge, a supervisor appeared unexpectedly, tendrils flowing, glowing eyes narrowing sharply. "Stop," she commanded, her voice harsh. Echoing across the fields, Ronan's mind raced, searching for a solution. And then he remembered the alien tool that could amplify the women's energy. He activated it cautiously, sending a wave of shimmer toward the supervisor, confusing her vision for just a few crucial seconds. In that moment, Ronan grabbed Liara's hand, pulling her and the others toward freedom. They reached the outer edge of the field, the glowing soil dimming as they stepped onto firmer ground. Ronan could see the alien landscape stretching ahead, forests of luminescent plants and soft hills. But the danger was not over. More supervisors appeared. Alerted by the disturbance, Ronan had to think fast, and he directed Liara to use her energy to create a distraction in the far fields. The supervisors hesitated, confused by the sudden shimmer and pulsing lights, buying Ronan precious seconds. They ran through the alien terrain, careful to avoid detection, the air filled with tension and the quiet hum of their companions. Ronan guided them through narrow valleys and behind glowing rock formations, his mind calculating every turn, every hiding place the alien women followed, trusting him completely, their energy pulsing in rhythm with his own determination. He felt pride and fear at the same time, knowing that one mistake could ruin everything. The suns climbed higher, casting long shadows that they used to their advantage, slipping through the light and into the dim, safe areas, just as they thought they were safe. A patrol drone appeared overhead, its sensors scanning for movement. Ronan ducked behind a cluster of bioluminescent trees. Holding Liara close, he whispered, "Stay quiet. Don't move." And the hum of the women softened, blending with the natural energy of the forest. The drone passed without noticing them, and a wave of relief washed over Ronan. They continued moving, faster now, adrenaline driving each step, hearts pounding in sync with the glowing energy. Finally, they reached the edge of a wide clearing, open ground leading to the safety of the forest beyond. Ronan took a deep breath. Scanning the area for obstacles, he looked at Liara, her glowing eyes meeting his, and nodded, silently signaling the final sprint. They ran together, the women following closely, leaving the glowing fields behind. The supervisors were still searching, still alert, but Ronan's careful planning, courage, and the bond with Liara had carried them this far. As they entered the forest, the glowing soil faded completely. Replaced by soft moss and alien trees, Ronan allowed himself a brief moment to breathe. Feeling the first taste of freedom, Liara's hum filled the air, vibrating with relief, curiosity, and gratitude. He realized then that this was only the beginning, that the escape was just the first step toward something greater. Human courage and compassion had made a difference, but the adventure was far from over, and the alien society would soon learn that even small humans could change the world. Ronan led Liara and the other alien women deeper into the forest, the soft moss cushioning their footsteps. The glowing fields were behind them, pulsing faintly, a reminder of what they had escaped. He could feel their energy, a mix of fear, relief, and hope guiding him. Each step brought them closer to safety, but also closer to the alien leaders who would not accept disobedience lightly. The path was narrow, winding between bioluminescent trees, and Ronan kept looking back, checking for pursuit. He whispered softly to Liara, "Stay close, stay calm. We will make it." Her hum vibrated gently, a sign of understanding and trust. The women followed without hesitation, relying on him completely, and he felt a surge of courage, humanity, compassion, and quick thinking had brought them this far, and he refused to fail now. Suddenly, the alien leaders appeared at the edge of the clearing, tall and imposing, their glowing eyes fixed on the escapees. Their tendrils moved with authority, signaling the others to halt. Ronan stepped forward, his hands raised, showing no threat. "I am human," he said, voice steady, "but I understand your ways, and I also understand right from wrong." The leaders studied him, their expressions unreadable. They had not expected courage or reasoning from a human. Only fear and obedience. Ronan took a deep breath and continued. "These women are not tools or objects. They are living, aware, and capable of thought. Your system has kept them alive, yes, but it has also trapped them, limited them, and caused suffering. I ask you to see what I see, to understand the bond, the respect, and the compassion that humans can offer." The forest was silent, the air thick with tension. Liara stepped forward, her glow brighter than ever, and pulsed strongly, a living testament to Ronan's words. The leader's eyes narrowed, but Ronan held his ground, showing bravery and honesty. He explained how he had learned, observed, and planned, not for himself alone, but to protect and free the women. He showed them Liara's pulse, the coordinated energy of the other women, and the small hums of agreement and understanding. For the first time, the alien leaders paused. Seeing something beyond control and dominance, they sensed a new possibility, a way their society could change without collapse. After a long moment, the tallest leader stepped forward, tendrils swaying slowly. "You speak differently from any human before," he said softly, his voice carrying authority and curiosity. "You have risked yourself for them, yet you ask for change." "Not reward?" Ronan nodded, swallowing his fear. "Yes, because freedom, compassion, and understanding are stronger than fear, stronger than rules. Let them choose, and they will teach your society what humanity can offer." The leaders conferred silently, their glowing forms pulsing with subtle energy. Finally they nodded, a decision made. The restrictions over the women were lifted, the glowing soil dimming as the energy shifted to freedom. Liara and the others rose fully from the fields, stepping onto solid ground, their eyes wide with amazement and relief. They looked at Ronan with gratitude. A bond stronger than any words could express. Ronan guided them to a safe valley, surrounded by natural barriers and glowing trees. He had helped them escape the fields, but also helped them begin a new life. The alien women began exploring, laughing softly, glowing brightly with newfound freedom. Liara stayed close, her hum matching the rhythm of Ronan's heartbeat, a silent promise of trust and friendship. As the sun set over the forest, painting the sky in brilliant gold and violet, Ronan reflected on the journey, the danger, the bond, and the courage it had taken. He realized that humanity, even a single human, could change an entire alien culture. The alien leaders watched from afar, now respecting the humans' wisdom and bravery. The society would never be the same, guided now by compassion, understanding, and the lessons taught by Ronan. The forest became a sanctuary, a symbol of a new beginning for the alien women. Ronan had risked his life, faced fear, and trusted his heart, and it had created hope where there was none. Liara pulsed softly beside him, and he smiled, realizing that this was not the end, but the start of something greater, a bond between humans and aliens, built on trust, respect, and bravery. The adventure had begun as a simple job, but it ended as a story of courage, friendship, and the power of compassion. As night fell and the twin moons rose over Valar Prime, Ronan looked at the stars, feeling a sense of pride and awe. He had survived, learned, and changed lives, proving that humanity could shine even in the most alien of worlds. The glow of the forest pulsed with life, freedom, and possibility. And for the first time, Ronan knew that this was only the beginning of new adventures, new bonds, and new stories to tell.